This chapter represents a crucial turning point in the Gospel. It is the point at which Jesus' identity is recognized, at least partially, and as a result, Jesus can now begin to explain the deeper mystery of his mission, the cross. And as Jesus begins to warn his disciples and explain what discipleship really means, he also draws to a close his ministry in the northern regions around Galilee and heads towards Jerusalem and his death. Jesus first of all sends out his 12 to do the mission that he has so far been doing by himself. He tells them that they will not need to take anything because, by and large, their reception will be warm. This reflects the happy state of having their master still with them, the period where the bridegroom is still with the marriage party, before the hard times to come when he has been taken away. Later, at the Last Supper in chapter 22, Jesus will refer to this moment and have them recall he sent them out with nothing. But at that time, he tells them they will need to take provisions and even weapons. Jesus is speaking figuratively at this point, and he is talking about the hostility his disciples will now face in mission. But for now, in chapter 9, things are much happier. Not that they will be without rejection, as Jesus himself was. In that case, they are to perform a little ritual, showing that these towns have been rejected by God, as they have rejected those sent to them with the gospel. The question of Jesus' identity is now raised with Herod. Now we have a mention of John the Baptist's death, which is only narrated in Mark's gospel. The opinions among the people of who Jesus is given in anticipation of Jesus' question to his disciples, which is coming later in this chapter. The great miracle of the feeding of the 5,000 is now related. This is the only miracle to be found in all four Gospels. John makes it clear that it happens at Passover time, but in the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, there is only one Passover, which is the Last Supper. Mark, however, does leave a clue of agreement. He mentions that the people sat down on the green grass, which suggests springtime. There are two or possibly three scriptural backgrounds for this miracle. The first is the provision of manna in the wilderness, which of course is the subject of Jesus' speech in John 6 with the "I am the bread" statement. The second background is Elisha feeding a smaller group in 2 Kings 4, 42 to 44. Someone brings food which is not enough, but God tells him that it will be enough and that there will be some left over. The third possible background is prophetic, from Isaiah 25 verse 6, which says, "The Lord of hosts will prepare a lavish banquet for all peoples on this mountain." The breaking of bread and prayer also looks forward to the Last Supper, and in Luke's Gospel only, the breaking of bread with the 2 disciples, whom the resurrected but disguised Jesus met on the road to Emmaus. After this, we have the moment where the question of Jesus' identity is faced head-on. Peter makes the correct identification, and as a result, Jesus now begins to explain what it means. It means suffering, rejection, and death. Missing here is Peter's attempt to correct Jesus and Jesus' sharp rebuke. Jesus then explains further, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will save it." Immediately after this comes the Transfiguration. The Transfiguration occurs in each of the Synoptics, but is curiously absent from John's Gospel, where a revelation of Jesus' divine glory would seem most at home, as John, more than anyone else, emphasizes the glory Jesus had in his heavenly origins, which is gradually revealed in his signs. Luke adds the detail that Moses and Elijah spoke to Jesus about his impending departure. The grouping of these episodes keeps the question of Jesus' true identity, its meaning, the cost of discipleship as a result, and a special revelation of his heavenly glory all linked tightly together. Suffering, service, faithfulness, and glory.